Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Jonathan Porticalian here, owner of Wetscapes. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, subscribe. If you already have been here watching the videos, I appreciate the support. Today we're going to be talking about the ins and outs of some business. I like talking business, and what a better video to do it on than this one. As you can see by the title, it's wall that we're building cost over $30,000, and you may say, hey, that's a lot of money, and honestly I wouldn't disagree with you. It's quite a bit of money, but I'm gonna kind of go in and tell you guys why and just give you a little business advice, stuff I've learned in running and owning a pool company, and maybe you learned something, maybe not. But just real quick, we just dug out that stump, digging out the footer right now, but we had to build that up in lifts. That was quite a deal. We tried to grind it out, man, but it just didn't even put a dent in it, and so that was kind of a holdup. We accounted for it, but it was something we didn't want to do, and that was just kind of one of those overhead things where it's like you don't want to have to pay for, but you try to save some more money, but you know, is what it is. So on the labor side of this job, it took us a little over 6 days to build this wall, which quite frankly is a lot of time, but it is what it is. And I'm actually on the job today. You can probably hear the rain. I'm recording this on my iPhone, and I'm just filling up a pool right now, fiberglass shell, but just to give you a little context of the noise. But overall, we made good money on this pool. Perfect. And we killed it. But this whole construction of this thing is very meticulous, man. When it comes to setting the base course, it's a lot of work, takes a lot of time. One of the reasons it took so long is mainly I do not build a lot of these walls. And so, real quick, I'm piling up that dirt against that bottom course because that locks in that wall into the hillside, and that's very important. Anyway, I don't build a lot of walls, and so because of that, it takes me longer. Now, I've built another one. This is probably my fourth wall of my career I've built, and so it's I've gotten better, but you know, it's just one of those things, man. You got to do every day to get really, really good at it, and then just adopting techniques and all that, and you know, it's just one of them deals. But you can see what we're doing is we're filling this with a number 8 rock, which is like a 3/4 rock. It's not washed. I wanted washed, but apparently I don't know if you can get it out here or not. I honestly haven't asked, but that's kind of what my brother did because we're business partners. So it's even got some dust in it, which I don't like. So comment below if you guys are really good at retaining walls. Let me know, because we're putting a slab. We're supposed to put landscaping between the wall and the pool and the concrete, about 2 foot, but it ended up being all concrete. So I'm starting to think, hey, you know, we should have packed every course. Maybe we should have, maybe we should not have. But I'm not sure, and it kind of a little nervous of settling issues and whatnot, but let me know in the comments below if you guys have any ideas on that. I'm building these corners up a different way than we normally have done. We normally put in cut a 45 on our blocks and set them, but we got these corner blocks and it looks absolutely stellar, and I'm pretty stoked about that. So anyway, you know, one thing I'm going to tell you guys about, you know, the pool business is it's labor intensive for sure, and it takes a lot of skill and a lot of people. Let me tell you, you know, I can build a swimming pool in, you know, a matter of a week and a half with just 2 guys, me and another dude, and we've gotten to where we're pretty efficient. But at the end of the day, it takes a lot of time, a lot of skill. And what I'm going to say about that is just business wisdom here is the only way I was able to do any of that is because of the questions I ask and the people I consult and consult/mentor, because I want things to be done, and I want them to be done right, and I want them to last. And so I am constantly communicating with people. I've got friends that own, $100 million construction companies, guys who own, $20, $30 million construction companies. I've got guys in digital marketing who own massive companies, and then I got guys who own small companies, and the whole lot. And so, I want to be able to consult with these guys and figure out what's the best practices. So, and I also got, for instance, concrete. A lot of guys, a lot of landscapers I see online, Tigran Hertz or whatever his name is, cool dude and whatnot. And I see a lot of things that I'm just like, dang, I'm questionable. The guys that he's got around him as far as some things go. But with concrete, is one small thing that's huge on a job, and if you don't do it right, man, you get into a lot of trouble. And so really paying attention and listening to people who know is very important. And so, like, I got a guy at IMI, his name's Brian, is a concrete company out here, and the guy's been doing concrete for 30 plus years, and he went to work for IMI 10 years ago. And so he did concrete himself for years, and now he's one of their top sales guys. And the dude knows concrete, to say the least. Finishing practices and chemicals, the whole 9 yards. And so mixed with that, along with an eye for detail when they're forming and when they're pouring, is very important. So, I'm not knocking, some of these guys on YouTube. I'm just, make it, if they watch my stuff, which I doubt it, just to be aware of things and understand the market, not the market, but understand the process and the project. Because when you're dealing with these concrete guys, they're rough, dude. They're very rough. And along with that comes being sloppy, being dirty, small details that they look over. It's the whole 9 yards, and you have to keep them accountable. And I'm going to show you on the last few pictures of this video at the end what some details that they missed that I make them come back and clean up on this job. But those things I know. I know how the form should be set. I know how they should be leveled. I know how much pitch they should have. I know how they should screed. I know how they should trowel. I know, the depths, thicknesses. I know all that. Coming from a background of building and then coming into the pool business, it is really storming out here. Sorry for the rain audio, guys. But I understand these things. And so you got these YouTuber guys who are doing construction. They know business, but they lose money because they don't understand some of these things. And you need a project manager who really knows and keep these guys accountable, or you yourself. And so that's kind of been our practice with the concrete part of it, is me or Jared staying and making sure everything gets done right. Now, in my opinion, I'm better at it than my brother, and we have to put some things in place to make sure we're on the same page with things. But at the end of the day, it's very important keeping your subs accountable and making sure that they are going to do things right. So part of this retaining wall is me not being able to trust people that can do a good job building this wall. This wall is not crazy hard, but the heights are very important. I established my height so this wall, when it gets to the top, is level with the pool, and it was within a 1/4 inch. And going up 12 courses that's perfect in my eyes. All right. Because don't get any better than that. It was 8 foot 2 inches, hooking the inside of the pool to the outside of the wall, which is, we wanted 8 foot. So I was 2 inches off because I accounted for an inch on each course because it steps up, but they're only 1/2 inch to 3/4. But that's no big deal whatsoever. And and so we can live with that. But those details are very important. Knowing where to stop the wall, knowing where to grind. So a lot of these guys, you can see throughout this video, I'm using a grinder on just about every row because these blocks are cupped. Like they hump in the middle, or the ends are dipped, whatever, like shaved off, whatever you want to say the blocks are. But that was a huge lightning bolt, man. It is storming out here. Anyway, those things are so important to getting a straight and flat wall. And you can see by this thing, it looks pretty dang good. And not to toot my own horn, but just showing that, when you take attention to detail, you get quality product. And so those things a retaining wall landscaping company won't do. They're not going to do it. They're going to charge you per foot, and they're going to throw the wall up. And if it's crooked, they're not going to care, to be honest with you. They're not going to fix it either. Because once this wall's up, you can't fix it. You have to rip the whole wall down. And they won't do it. They'll block your number. They don't care. They're gone. So unless you're watching them build it and making sure, keeping them accountable, and at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. So that's one of the reasons I did this myself. Other reason is we had some free time. It's winter. We started this before Christmas. And so that was the other reason. And so it's kind of twofold. But keeping the guys busy and also, that was $30,000, right? Material and labor. Well, I'm paying that to somebody else. So I either keep it in the company or I give it to somebody else. And so I keep it in the company. But, at the end of the day, we're trying to generate revenue and keep the guys busy and all this and that. One thing I want to say to you guys is attention to detail is so critical on every step of the process with a swimming pool and with business in general. Maintaining that level of detail and proficiency and efficiency is crucial to being successful. We're a small company. We do, this year we'll do at least $2 million this year in swimming pools, and that's not including building projects we're doing with our remodeling and building company. But at the end of the day, you have to have a very high attention for detail, and then just a common sense error, right? Like knowing what's got to go and when it's got to happen with plumbing, HVAC on the buildings, the pool, it's electrical, plumbing, knowing when to put it in, how to put it in, what's doing two things at once. Like you see earlier in the video, I'm doing the auto cover. Well, we can only backfill so much until that auto cover is in because we got to backfill underneath of it and against it on the retaining wall. So I was putting that in while I had some free time. The other guys were setting the wall up and, getting all that done. And so that's just part of the process is, understanding, hey, when to do that. And, some guys will just take off the whole day. I can't do that. We'll come back the next day, start the auto cover, and call it a day. And but that's not how we roll. So business wisdom, stay efficient. Always look for ways to get better. Always stay clean and stay very picky about your work because you never know who's watching. I mean, the guy next door wants to do a $600,000 pool. All right, it's a lot of money. And he's looking at this project to see, hey, these guys, can they handle my project? Along with stuff on our site and whatnot. But, if you can't handle the little things, you can't handle the big ones. And this project, not too big for us. We can do pools, $1 million pools. It's not a big deal for us. But, at the end of the day, he's spending a lot of money. So he wants to know whether his money's going to be secure or not. All right, quick one thing. That detail underneath that concrete slab where it's got this styrofoam underneath of it, that's part of that detail that matters. My concrete guys, they came in there and they had to spray foam to get that cantilever edge for the concrete, and they didn't clean it. And so part of working with good guys is, they stand by their work, and my guys will. And so they're going to come back and touch it all up. But, I've seen on jobs where you come back and the foam and the tape, and it's all there a year later. And nobody kept them accountable and said, hey, you got to clean up your mess. And so that's one thing that you guys need to make sure as you're going through life in general is accountability is everything in business, and you will not get anywhere without it. So keep that in mind.